200 years ago. But the stones still stand, and the people still remember. Because it was in Glenfinnan that Prince Charles Edward Stuart raised the standard of the rebellion that had everything of glamour and little enough of gain, leaving one more memory amongst the rich tales that haunt the Highlands. The oldest inhabitants, the Highland cattle, the natives of the thin, rough pasture, are as gentle in nature as fierce they look.
It's the cold Christmas I'm thinking over clock, and the bracken for a wink on my...
Aye, thin, rough pasture, but we think it is a lovely land, full of all the pleasures and satisfactions that a man can get from the out of doors. Year by year, King George came north to forget for a while the cares of being a monarch in the keen winds and heather moors of Deeside. Balmoral, the sovereign Scottish home, is a quiet place, a domestic sort of place, a castle built on the solid Victorian tradition of impregnable peace. But that's not the tale of Stirling, where the royal castle was a strong point through all Scotland's bitter fighting days, and which to this day remains a fort and a barracks for the Queen's Highland regiments.
Guard! To your duties! By the right! Quick! March!
Stirling Castle was the prize for which Bannockburn was fought, where King Robert the Bruce created his country's independence. King Robert, who left his heart under the high altar at the Abbey of Melrose, in the borderland of the Barons. Never did days of feud and intrigue bring more sadness to the people on both sides of the border than that February day 250 years ago. Yet Scotland was not all strife and disaster. There were, and are, the arts of peace. And the home of the game we have given to the rest of the world is St. Andrews, the royal and ancient, the parliament of golf, and the pilgrimage of its disciples, called ancient because it is ancient, and royal because if you can find all the burgesses of St. Andrews on its members' roll, you can also find the names of kings. And today, when the royal family visit Edinburgh in state, it is at the Palace of Holyrood House, the traditional home of Scottish sovereigns, that they stay, sharing it with legends and memories, some of state and some of sorrow. And its chief ghost still is Mary. Mary of Scots, who stands as a figure of true high tragedy. In the palace of Linlithgow she was born on the week her father, the king, died. Then it was over the hills and the bogs that Queen Mary rode to Hermitage Castle, the border stronghold, to comfort the Earl of Bothwell as he lay wounded, her husband's murderer, who 3 months from her widowhood was to become her bridegroom. And it was in the castle of Lochleven that Mary Stuart was imprisoned for a year, until she escaped, but to disaster, defeat, and despair, and the sharp axe at last. Yet it was the son of this romantic and beautiful queen who did what none could do before: unite the crowns of Scotland and England, the thistle and the rose, as they are united today, united as the Scottish clans themselves.